Yuka is joining me here on set. Must mean it's time for the business news for you. The pandemic has really boosted business for video conferencing providers. Among them, guess which one I'm going to talk about? Zoom. It's become a household name, hasn't it, Yuka?
It really has become a household name now. Zoom's shares rose more than 10% in after-hours trading in New York last night after the company reported its results for the final quarter of 2020, again beating expectations. Revenue for the period came in at almost $900 million, more than 4 times its sales in the same period the previous year. Net profit soared to $260 million compared to just $15 million a year before. The numbers cap a year of the company's real meteoric rise. Zoom was a relative upstart before the pandemic. Its share price has more than tripled over the past 12 months. There have been, though, some concerns that the company's growth will slow down after the global economy gradually reopens. But Zoom's chief executive says that the company is well positioned for strong growth in the coming year. Zoom expects sales will rise above $900 million in the current quarter.
I'm sure they'll still be used. Let's have a look at the markets then, Yuka. What's happening?
Well, Asian shares in general took a breather from Monday's strong rally, which was boosted by upbeat manufacturing data around the world. As you can see, all down except South Korea, which is up a day after it was closed for a public holiday. Oil prices, meanwhile, retreated again overnight ahead of a key OPEC meeting next week to discuss adjusting output. Over the past few months, oil prices have been rising and have now rebounded to pre-pandemic levels. This, of course, after US crude prices plunged into negative territory last April.
Yuka has some corporate news for us now. This is a senior executive at the shoemaker Nike suddenly stepping down.
It's Nike's vice president and head of its North America operations, Ann Hebert, who abruptly left the company on Monday following a media report about her son's business. Bloomberg Businessweek's latest cover article revealed that her 19-year-old son had used a credit card in his mother's name to buy trainers and then to resell. It said that he spent more than $100,000 on the credit card to buy limited edition shoes to make profit out of them. Nike issued a brief statement saying Hebert had made the decision to leave and that it was looking for her replacement.
And here in France, one of the country's biggest firms is really shaking up its board.
Food giant Danone had a board meeting late last night, and it says it will start looking for a new CEO. The decision was announced after that meeting. The current head, Emmanuel Faber, will move to the limited role of president after his replacement is chosen. The move comes after a group of activist investors have raised doubts over Faber's leadership, pointing to declining sales. Faber has been known for defending a more environmentally friendly vision at Danone.
And finally, in the business news, among those suffering worsening living conditions under the coronavirus pandemic, we're talking about students here. Here in France, the government has offered cheap meals to actually help them get through the tough time. In Belgium, though, anger's really boiled over, hasn't it?
Well, hundreds of Belgian students protested, took to the street in Brussels on Monday, angry at what they see as a lack of action from authorities. Like elsewhere, universities in Belgium are still closed, with no sign yet of any end in sight, making it more and more difficult for them to support themselves. Luke Schrager has the details.
Fed up, solidarity. Such are the calls from Belgian students that have only swelled in recent months, as coronavirus restrictions not only keep them from class but prevent them from working.
Les jobs étudiants, on va pas se mentir, il y en a plus de jobs étudiants. Le résultat, c'est qu'on est réduit à une précarité qui est quand même assez dangereuse.
Je suis fatiguée de suivre les cours que j'aime d'une façon que j'aime pas. Et je suis en train de me rendre compte que si ça recommence comme ça l'année prochaine, je pourrai pas continuer.
The Belgian government ruled out any softening of its restrictions last week in an effort to prevent the spread of the virus. And the vast majority of students have been distance learning online for months. The closures of bars, restaurants and cafes mean many can no longer support themselves, with estimates ranging from a third to well over 3/4 of students losing their main source of income. While one association has managed to raise some €13 million to help those most in need with expenses, it's causing deep concern over mental health should the situation continue.
J'ai dû faire un choix, par exemple, entre imprimer 2 chapitres d'un cours dont j'avais absolument besoin et me nourrir. J'ai préféré me nourrir que d'imprimer mes cours. J'essaye un maximum de me tourner vers les banques alimentaires pour que ça me coûte le moins cher possible. Là, c'était plus pour vivre, mais plutôt pour survivre.
Even as a rollout of vaccines continues, student unions want further consideration from authorities, an extension of unemployment benefits to students and even special COVID scholarships to support those most in need.